I'm Craigo, and join me on my adventures with Craigos cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies, interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about. You're watching Craigos Crypto Corner, the best interviews in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technology. Today, I have my good buddy, Easton Gladney, who's going to be talking with me about the Elron blockchain. For those of you that don't know, there are a lot of blockchains out there, but this one's special, and quite frankly, it's under the radar. Welcome, Easton. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Craig. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be on and talk about it.
Absolutely. I mean, let's get right to it. So you last year, I think, fell in love with cryptocurrencies, non-fungibles, moreover, we just say Web3. Tell me about a little bit about your journey, how you got there, and then we'll dive into Elron.
Yeah, so I have been a licensed realtor for a little bit less than 3 years now. Got my license at 19 years old. Kind of went through that path, learned a little bit about the entrepreneurship journey, and then about a year ago, I fell into the crypto space. I actually bought the Elrond cryptocurrency as my first cryptocurrency, which is kind of crazy. Um, and then from there, about 7 months ago, I got on a podcast with a friend who introduced me to someone else that was deep into the NFT space. Jumped on a call with him. He taught me everything that he knew about the space for about an hour, and then I just fell in love and went crazy with the NFTs, which actually taught me more about cryptocurrency as I got deeper in that space.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, a non-fungible token, it's basically a cryptocurrency, but it can't be fractionalized, and that's sort of where we're going to go today. The other thing is, I know that a lot of people from today's interview are going to be very, very excited about the Elron blockchain. I want to be very clear: neither you or myself are financial advisors. This is not financial advice. And I also recommend that you do your due diligence to understand whatever it is that you get into. That being said, let's talk a little bit about the user experience. How many coins right now are on the Elron blockchain?
So there is nine coins, and that includes Elrond as well.
Okay, that's awesome. And so, you know, as I understand it, what has been different with the Mira app, right? So we've got for the Ethereum blockchain, at least I always think about the MetaMask. For the Elron blockchain, it's the Mira app, and there might be a few others that I'm not aware of. But let's just focus today for the Mira app. There's a really cool thing called a hero tag. Why don't you tell us what that is?
Yes, so a hero tag basically acts like a Venmo username. So instead of having the long string of letters and numbers, you get a username that you can pick when you first sign up for the app, and then they can send you cryptocurrency or the NFTs toward that instead of the long string of numbers and letters as we know it in the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, because in the Ethereum blockchain, you have to do an ENS an ENS registration. So mine is metastaterealtor.eth. And so again, I won't be accepting anybody's coins if something slides into my wallet today. But on the Myer app, that's free. So the cost of entry is so much more palatable to somebody who's trying to learn about this space, wants to get involved, but doesn't have the necessary means or the money or can pay the exorbitant gas fees with the Ethereum blockchain. I'm not knocking it because
Yeah.
I love the Ethereum blockchain, but Elron, again, so under the radar. Why don't we talk a little bit about the launch pad and in retrospect to that, the DEX, the NFT marketplace, and of course, sharding.
Yeah, so these are all like awesome things that the like Elron team is building themselves. They have built the decks themselves. They are building the NFT marketplace. And these are all like very, very like new things. So like when it comes to the launch pad, this is basically something where the founders of like of Elron and their team, they sponsor and they give advice to new projects, which basically stamps an approval for investors. Say, hey, this project has been vetted by Elrond. This is something that we basically sponsor and that we put our approval on, and we show you guys that this is something that can be trusted to invest in.
So, question that actually brings up a question that I hadn't even thought about before we hopped on today. Is in the Ethereum blockchain, that's not necessarily the case, right? So let's talk a little bit more about the discovery of the vetting. So you mean to tell me that every project that's coming on the Elron blockchain has been vetted by the team itself?
As long as it's going through the launch pad. If it's not going to the launch pad, then it hasn't, because there there is a time now where you can release like any coin that you want, like on the decks. But as long as it's going through their launch pad, um, like officially, then yes, it is vetted by the Elrond blockchain.
Yeah, and so this is another thing that we talked about with crypto punks, and I want to just hop into some of. I'm skipping a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit about Meyer punks. It's probably, I believe, the second project that launched based on what you had talked to me about. Tell me about Meyer punks and the staking and why you like this project so very much.
Yeah, so I believe they came out about 120 days ago, maybe like a little bit more. Um, they like you said, like they're like one of the first to launch on the Elrond blockchain. They are partnered with another huge project called the Nogans. The Nogans have their own DAO, and the Meyerpunks were their first partner um, to be partnered with them, and they have staking coming out hopefully next month or like in the next 6 weeks, where you can put your punks up for staking, and through this you earn cryptocurrency that is native to that NFT that then we can hopefully spend in the Nogan metaverse in the Meyer capital city when that is created. And they're also coming out with 3D punks that you can use inside the metaverse as well.
That's awesome. And so it's really cool that every blockchain is creating their vision of what their metaverse is. And that's really awesome. And then I think, from a previous interview, we're going to see bridges interconnecting different blockchains, different metaverses. So Web3 is constantly emerging. It's such a vast space. So we talked a little bit about the Meyer punks. I hope that it will go like the crypto punks, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're very affordable right now, for most. And so it's something to look into, to read that project. And I always am a big fan of, and I want to get your opinion. Twitter or Discord? Which one do you like better?
I like Twitter for finding new information. I like Discord for diving deeper into projects.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm Twitter, but I gotta respect I gotta respect your response on that. So one of the other things that got me really excited about Elrond is that they launched their real estate project. I want you to tell us what it is and about the staking process and about that particular token.
Yeah, so this what you're talking about is Realm of Critha. It is actually a play to earn game. If anyone has played DeFi Kingdoms on Harmony One, it's gonna be kind of like that. But they released their Genesis One business buildings that you were able to buy. Um, and you can put these up for staking, which basically like generates revenue through the business, and then you can then use that realm token that is the native token to Realm of Critha to then use to buy houses in the future and characters, and then eventually use in game to move through the economy and do your thing like actually inside the game.
And since that particular launch, those some of those properties within that realm have literally 4x. Am I correct on that?
Yes, the basic buildings are at about a 50% gain. There are other ones that are about like a 10x, and then there are some like the Cartography Guild that there are some that have sold for 25 e gold, and these have minted for probably 0.45. So what is that, like a 20x?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
And but I want to talk about something that I think is important that probably almost every podcast I'll bring up. If you're looking to FOMO into a project because you hear something's exciting, what I'm hoping that this podcast will do is want to bring people down the journey of learning. We're learning together. I'm learning too. Every day I'm learning something new. But most importantly, what they're able to do is hear about different blockchains, different ecosystems, different projects, understanding a little bit about staking, which is earning a particular native token. And I think that's really awesome. The native token to the Elron blockchain is eGold. And then I also believe that the utility token for that particular project is the Realm token for Realms. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I had it correct. Again, we're constantly
Yeah.
learning and evolving. The other thing is diamond hands equal diamond mines. So diamond mines, I'm sorry, equal diamond hands. I always find it interesting that when people don't learn enough, I had a friend of mine the other night. He was talking about a couple different cryptocurrencies that he's watching right now based on some of the markets based on gas prices, all that's going on in the world. And he's like, Craig, these are really exciting. And it's very easy just to hear a friend's advice and someone who has good intention and then getting into a project. But when you don't do the due diligence yourself, you've put yourself at a liability. So I want people to take from this today's podcast about the Elron blockchain is to learn about it. One of the things I really want to go into with you on the Elron blockchain that's really exciting for me is about the transactions per second, the gas fee. Let's talk a little bit about that because that's what hinders people in the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, I like totally agree. That's something that like really turned me off from Ethereum. So the Elron blockchain on their test net they reached about 260,000 transactions per second. They're not doing that like at this moment because there's no need. There's not that many users, so why open up all those shards and other things when they don't have to run that many transactions per second? And then from there, their gas fees are like one third of a penny. So when you combine fast transactions, which brings on cheaper gas fees, um, it just combines for a great user experience.
Efficiency, speed, and cost effective. What could be better than that? But let's roll into this. When you talk about sharding, for those that don't know what sharding is, and what sharding is in the Elron blockchain is a lot different from what sharding might be on other blockchains. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I guess the basic term, like to not get too like technical, is basically instead of having all the workload and all the computing and like all the data storage on one thing, it's split up across like multiple, I guess, shards. And in case one goes down, the entire like Elrond blockchain doesn't crash. Like I think shard zero went down the other day, and like you couldn't use the blockchain, but the blockchain was still up. It was still working. So it just prevents one thing from being like overworked and crashing.
And not to confuse it, I think they described it as mini blockchains within a blockchain.
Yeah.
Wallet users. So I'm one of the 1.379 million users. How do you think that number is going to increase? And when did we see the most dramatic increase on the Meyer app?
So we saw a huge increase like actually in users when the Mira app first came out. Like that was a huge boost in the Elrond blockchain. And then from there, the DEX like really helped onboard people. And I think the NFT marketplace that's coming up, hopefully this month, if the team can stay on track, I think that's going to onboard a lot of people to the like space that is inside the Elrond blockchain, and a lot of people that are outside of the Elrond like ecosystem as a whole will I think start to look at something because I think Elrond's the first blockchain to officially have their own team built NFT marketplace.
I love it. I love it. And I just want to hit a few more things before we wrap this up. But this, I think, was really super engaging. I think the listeners will truly gain the value to understand a different blockchain that right now at this time is very underrated, very cost effective. But I want to give a quick example. If I go on right now to my Ethereum blockchain, and I love Ethereum, I want to be very clear. So anybody that thinks I don't like Ethereum, no, I do. The gas fee sometimes can be anywhere between 50 all the way up to $200 to do a transaction. On the Elron blockchain, what are we looking at in comparison?
We're looking at I've seen it as low as one third of a penny, and I've seen it as high as like I think like two thirds of a penny. So very cheap.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, there we talked about the realms of Caritha, we talked about the Meyer punks, but there's a big shout out that we've got to talk about. And I think you know the one, Hog Homies. Let's talk a little bit about that project, and we'll end it on that note because that's a really something exciting that you got into. You know the owner of the project, and you've really been engaging with them. That's why I gave you the nickname E Gold.
I love it. I love it. Yes, so the owner of the project is High Res the rapper. He is a famous rapper who's been in the rap game for a very long time now. So he's doing a lot of special things. He actually has one collection on the Ethereum blockchain that his are his original hog homies. There are 75 of them. If you own one of them, you make I think it's right now it's 0.3%, and he's looking to bring it up to 0.5% of all royalties that are paid out quarterly to you for the Hog Homie brand. And now from there, he's transitioning over to the Elron blockchain. where he has his Hog Homie passes, which give you access to his in real life and metaverse events. They give you access to his whitelist for his future projects, and they also give you access to giveaways. And he's given away probably over 150 NFTs since he's been on the Elron blockchain. And from there, he's releasing on 420 um, of this year his Piglet collection. And then after that, he's releasing a comic book collection where he's partnering with a Bored Ape Yacht Club holder.
Nice, nice. You know, you just brought up something, and we'll end it on this note, right? Utility is everything. And so as Web3 comes, we want real life and metaverse experiences. Easton, I'm so happy that you hopped on to Craigos Crypto Corner podcast. It's an honor to have you on, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about this stuff and just spreading the awareness. Like I love it.